President Truman, speaking from the White House on national radio and television networks, declares that the threat to peace which the world is facing today has been created by the rulers of the Soviet Union. He states that the free nations must unite to strengthen their defenses against communist imperialism.
I'm going to talk to you about what our country is up against and what we're going to do about it. Our homes, our nation, all the things we believe in are in great danger. This danger has been created by the rulers of the Soviet Union.
For 5 years, we've been working for peace and justice among nations. We have helped to bring the free nations of the world together in a great movement to establish lasting peace. Against this movement for peace, the rulers of the Soviet Union have been waging a relentless attack. They have tried to undermine or overwhelm the free nations one by one. They've used threats and treachery and violence.
The communists show that they are now willing to push the world to the brink of a general war to get what they want. This is the real meaning of the events that have been taking place in Korea. This is why we are in such grave danger. The future of civilization depends on what we do, on what we do now, and in the months ahead.
We have the strength and we have the courage to overcome the danger that threatens our country. We must act calmly and wisely and resolutely.
Here are the things we will do. First, we will continue to uphold, and if necessary, to defend with arms, the principles of the United Nations. Second, we will continue to work with the other free nations to strengthen our combined defenses. Third, we will build up our own Army, Navy, and Air Force, and make more weapons for ourselves and our allies. Fourth, we'll expand our economy and keep it on an even keel.
Now I want to talk to you about each one of these things. First, we will continue to uphold the principles of the United Nations.
We have no aggressive purpose. We do not use our strength for aggression. We are a tolerant and restrained people, deeply aware of our moral responsibilities and deeply aware of the horrors of war.
We believe in settling differences by peaceful means, and we have made honest efforts to bring about disarmament. We will continue those efforts, but we cannot yield to aggression.
Though the present situation is dangerous, we do not believe that war is inevitable. There is no conflict between the legitimate interests of the free world and those of the Soviet Union that cannot be settled by peaceful means. We will continue to take every honorable step we can to avoid general war, but we will not engage in appeasement.
The danger we face exists not only in Korea. Therefore, the second thing we're going to do is to increase our efforts with other free nations to build up defenses against aggression in other parts of the world. In dealing with the Korean crisis, we're not going to ignore the danger of aggression elsewhere. There is actual warfare in the Far East, but Europe and the rest of the world are also in very great danger.
The same menace, the menace of communist aggression, threatens Europe as well as Asia. Other free nations need our help, and we need theirs.
We must work with a sense of real partnership and common purpose with these nations. We must stand firm with our allies, who have shown their courage and their love of freedom. The United States, Canada, and the 10 nations of Western Europe who are united with us in the North Atlantic Treaty have already begun to create combined military defenses. We will continue to provide assistance to European countries and to other free countries in other parts of the world because their defense is also important to our defense. The communist rulers are trying their best to split the free nations apart. If they should succeed, they would do staggering damage to the cause of freedom.
Unity with our allies is now and must continue to be the foundation of our effort. Working together, the three nations can create military forces strong enough to convince the communist rulers that they cannot gain by aggression.
Working together, the three nations can present the common front backed by strength, which is necessary if we are to be in a position to negotiate successfully with the Kremlin for peaceful settlements. Working together, we hope we can prevent another world war. In order to succeed, we in our country have a big job ahead of us. That is why the third thing we must do to meet the present danger is to step up our defense program. We are expanding our armed forces very rapidly. We are speeding up the production of military equipment for our armed forces and for our allies. We have a large Navy. We have a powerful Air Force. We have units around which a strong Army can be built. But measured against the danger that confronts us, our forces are not adequate.
On June 25th, when the Communists invaded the Republic of Korea, we had less than 1.5 million men and women in our Army, Navy, and Air Force. Today, our military strength has reached about 2.5 million. Our next step is to increase the number of men and women on active duty to nearly 3.5 million. I have directed the armed forces to accomplish this as soon as possible.
The Army and the Navy will be able to do this within a few months. It'll take the Air Force somewhat longer. In addition to these men and women on active duty, we have about 2 million more in the National Guard and the Reserves who are subject to call. Within 1 year, combat vehicles will be coming off the production line at 4 times today's rate. Within 1 year, the rate of production of electronics equipment for defense will have multiplied 4.5 times. These will not be weapons for our own armed forces alone. They will constitute an arsenal for the defense of freedom. Out of this arsenal, we will be able to send weapons to other free nations to add to what they can produce for their own defenses. And in this same arsenal, we will provide a large reserve of weapons to equip additional units in our armed forces whenever that may be necessary.
In order to build the military strength we need, we will have to expand our production greatly.
Because our freedom is in danger, we are united in its defense. Let no aggressor think we are divided. Our great strength is the loyalty and fellowship of a free people. We pull together when we are in trouble, and we do it by our own choice, not out of fear, but out of love for the great values of our American life that we all have a share in. We should draw renewed courage and faith from the response of the free world to that aggression. What the three nations have done in Korea is right, and men all over the world know that it's right. Whatever temporary setbacks there may be, the right will prevail in the end. We must understand that we cannot achieve peace by ourselves, but only by cooperating with other free nations and with the men and women who love freedom everywhere.
We must remember that our goal is not war, but peace. Throughout the world, our name stands for international justice and for a world based on the principles of law and order. We must keep it that way.
We are willing to negotiate differences, but we will not yield to aggression. Appeasement of evil is not the road to peace.
The American people have always met danger with courage and determination. I am confident we will do that now. And with God's help, we shall keep our freedom.